Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sandy Hart, and I am the director of the Charter for Compassion Women and Girls sector. In a moment, I'm going to introduce you to Grandmother Flordemayo. Let me take just a little moment of introducing you to the Charter for Compassion, do a little bit of housekeeping so you're most comfortable, and then we'll get started with a dialogue on the spirit of the feminine. I'm so excited to have this call, so I'll make our introduction short. The Charter for Compassion is a global thriving network of over 400 cities and regions of compassion, with more than 2,000 partners organized in 53 countries, and founded on the Charter for Compassion, and you can find more out about us at charterforcompassion.org. And those partners I mentioned, they're organized into 12 sectors, and I happen to be the director of the Women and Girls sector. Now I'd like to do just a little bit of housekeeping. If you were to take your mouse and scroll it to the bottom of your screen, you'll see a chat box and a Q&A box. And that is because Grandmother Flordemayo loves your questions and your comments, and this is a dialogue. We would like you to feel comfortable to post your comments and your questions there, and we'll do our very best to get to them. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Usually we like to ask on our registration form where you're calling in from, but that didn't get put in. So I'm going to take this moment now and ask you, if you found your chat box, just drop us a note. Greetings from Helsinki, greetings from Germany. It would be kind of fun to see where everybody's calling in from. There is a large number of you calling in from all over the world. I think it's fun to share where you're all coming in from, so Grandmother can also see. So with no further ado, it's my delight to introduce you and welcome back Grandmother Flordemayo. Grandmother is the founding member of the Confederation of Indigenous Elders of the Americas, Institute of Natural and Traditional Knowledge, Church of the Spiritual Path, founding member of the Council of 13 Indigenous Grandmothers, and founding member of the Path. And in your invitation, you probably also got a notice about Gathering for Humanity that's coming up on May 16th through the 20th. And I urge you to go to gatheringforhumanity.org and check it out. And perhaps we can even talk a little bit about that on this call today. And now you've heard enough from me. Welcome back, Grandmother Flordemayo, to the urgent message from the Call of the Feminine and this special conversation you're going to lead us in.
Oh, thank you so much, Sandy. I'm going to greet everybody and say a short prayer. Beloved Creator, beloved Mother, thank you for bringing us together on this absolutely beautiful, beautiful day of 13-ish. 13 is the way in which we receive incredible patience in our everyday life. It is the representation of not only our patience with everything that we do during the day, but through the patience that we act and can follow up with our actions, beloved Creator. This is the day in which we stand here before you on this beautiful, beautiful day of the spirit of Ish, the spirit of the feminine, the spirit that translates to us humans and our relationship with all of nature. Beloved Creator, on this sacred day, I ask for your blessings, for your guidance, embracing us with your beautiful mantle of stars, beloved Creator. Beloved Mother, all of my love and gratitude today on this sacred day. I hold you in my heart, and I thank you so, so very much for this beautiful, beautiful moment. I want to say to everybody that I feel so humble this morning to be able to speak to you. And this moment of humbleness, as I was tuning into the prayer, tuning into the day, the holy ones are guiding me to take you on a journey of gratitude. And so we are going to continue with the prayer, and I'm going to do a meditation, a guided meditation that I'm being guided to do right now. So get yourself very, very comfortable as you can get. Concentrate on your breath. Today, on this sacred day of Ish, it is also the day of the element of water. So we are going to go and visit the spirit of the water. As we get ourselves comfortable and relax, feel your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Concentrating on the breath. We're going to find ourselves in a place where there is water all around us. The salty water, the ocean water. As we step into the water, we could feel the beauty of the water on our feet. As we inhale and exhale, the water starts to rise. Going from the bottom of our feet to the top of our feet. Inhaling and exhaling. We could feel the water coming up to both of our ankles. Inhaling and exhaling. We could feel the movement of the water, and with our eyes closed, we could see the beautiful blue light. With inhalation and exhalation, the water starts to rise, continuing to move from our left knee to our right knee. Feeling the movement of the water and continuing to become one with the beautiful blue light. Inhaling and exhaling. The water is traveling up into our thighs. We could feel it at our fingertips as it continues to move to our hips, coming up into the elbows as it continues to cover our stomach, our lower back, continuing to move around us, all around us. We can feel the water moving and gushing throughout our body. We can feel and see the blue light that is surrounding us as we inhale and exhale. We continue to feel the water moving up into the upper part of our chest, upper part of our back, and it continues to move into the shoulders as we inhale and exhale. It's coming up into our neck as we continue to inhale and exhale. It's moving into our chin, into our mouth, into our nose, into our eyes. And at this very, very moment, we can feel the water on the crown of our heads. At the same time, we become one with this beautiful, beautiful light. We are one with the blue light. We are one with the spirit of the water. Continue to feel the movement of the light and the water, allowing yourself to become one with your physical body and allow the knowing and the feeling of the spirit of the water and the spirit of the light to come down from the crown of your head as it gently moves down into your forehead, moving very, very gently, coming back down through your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your arms, your elbows, your waist, your stomach, your lower back, lower part of your arms, your hips, your hands, your thighs, your knees, down your legs, your ankles, down your feet, and down to the ball of your feet, the bottom of your feet, releasing the water, allowing yourself to take a step back and to come back into your body, into the space where you physically are right now. And we can now embrace our hands and bow to the beloved Mother, giving her thanks and gratitude for the sweet journey that she has taken us on. So open your eyes and look at the computer. All right. So first of all, I want to say that I hold everyone in my heart at this very, very moment, because the day of today is so incredibly precious, not only for humanity, but our everyday energy throughout the day, throughout the night, throughout the afternoon. But just so that we can remember to embrace our family as we embrace ourselves first. We embrace our family. Because we are one with nature, we embrace ourselves with the four sacred elements. To embrace ourselves with our pets. These are the spirit of the animals that we live with. All of the little critters that you have in your house. All of those that you hold in your heart. All of those that are in a situation of extinction, that we send our prayers to all of the animals around the globe, that we send our prayers out to the forest, our good thoughts and energy out into all of the waterways throughout the world, be it the ocean, the lakes, the rivers, the streams, the waterfalls, all of that water that is around us. And let's not forget the synthetic places that we build to contain the water, the man-made ponds, for those of us that have small little fountains to continue to send the energy, because we keep and hold that of nature where we can have something tangible to remind us of all the beauty of nature that we need to have in mind. And so today is an incredible, incredible day. I bow and honor you, because you have taken the time in this past year to log on and to listen and to dialogue and to pray in this beautiful, beautiful way that is composed of absolute sincerity and spontaneity. We can't write these things. They are spontaneously happening from the love that we have to our Creator and the communication that we are having instantly with the spirits, our ancestors, our beloved Creator. And so I send my sincere gratitude to you because we have met this way for a year. And today, all of these energies go from 1 to 13. And it's like having a volume dial where you turn it from number 1. And today is very special because it's up to 13. So today it brings it up to the high volume of energy. So take the time and honor that and become one with it. And so this is the part of the 13, which translates into action. We have greeted each other through the action of prayer, through the action of meditation, of the action of bringing all of us together, heart to heart. Wherever we are, we connected these beautiful, beautiful threads of love, each and every one of us, regardless of where we are. And so I greet you, humbly greet you, and I say thank you to you. This beautiful, beautiful blue light came as we were together doing this meditation. And this light is very, very special because it is through the light that it is a vehicle for us to move around and to move about. So when we go into the light, we become one with the light. And throughout the day, we can take this light and we can send it from our hearts to all of nature. As we proceed with our day, we think of all of these things that we want to send the beautiful, beautiful light to. So I thank you again. And I'm going to open now for dialogue, for us to have this beautiful question and answer moment. I thank you so much.
Thank you, Grandmother, for that stunning journey that you have taken us on. And I know my life has changed since I first met you, since that very first call. Saying, what can we do to bring this message forward? And it just seems so natural, and you made it so easy, and you've been so generous with your time over the year. Yeah, it's really amazing. So why don't we invite you all to share your questions, and how about we actually elevate you onto the call so you can ask your question, if that's all right, Grandmother?
That's perfect, yes.
Oh, isn't that great? Okay, so I invite you to just drop me a note if you would like me to bring you on so you can ask your call, and then you can step back into the audience and give room for the next person. So we'll just be patient while you're forming your question or your idea, or don't think too much about it and just come on in and let the spirit move you. Grandmother, this may sound like a, okay, hold on a second. Here we have a hand raised. Let me just try to do this gracefully. And how do you like that? There seems to be we had some technical problems earlier, everybody. I'm so glad you're a compassionate team here, because, hold on a moment, we're doing our very best to get you onto the call. Oh, my stars. Yeah, there seems to be a little technical weird thing happening where I'm not able to bring you onto the call like I promised. Oh, no. Okay, so Karina, would you like to start by typing in your question? And I'm so terribly sorry. And while you're doing that, we're just going to see what we can do on the back end here for some of us working on the back end to elevate you onto the call. Wow. Okay, let's see. I think I found it. Okay, here we go. Karina, there you are. I figured it out. I let the spirit move me, and she directed me right to you. So Karina, you're actually live. You're going to have to unmute yourself to speak with Grandmother. Or perhaps I misunderstood that you wanted to be elevated. Okay, so perhaps you can find your mute button or type me a message that I misunderstood. Grandmother, I would like to ask you about, perhaps for those of us who are needing more spiritual guidance on how to really listen to when the spirit of the feminine speaks to us, and how to carry on our own conversation with the dialogue. You know, when you first sent me the idea for what you wanted to call this call here today, a dialogue on the spirit of the feminine, my first thought was you meant a dialogue with the spirit of the feminine. So while we're waiting for some listeners or attendees to join us, I invite you to maybe, perhaps give us a little bit of wisdom. And perhaps this comes so natural to you. But I know for myself, sometimes it's really easy to dismiss, especially in the Western world, to dismiss these messages that come at us loud and clear.
So one of the things that I encourage Sandy is the silence, the absolute silence. We as humans have to find a way to honor that. And it doesn't matter where you go. It really, really doesn't matter. We have such busy lives. And sometimes we might just have a little tiny little space that we live. You know, we have to find a place that we can be alone, perhaps maybe outside. The thing is to find a designated place and to practice the silence. And it is through the practice that we can hear the spirit. I don't have any magical words other than to encourage you to be in silence. Mm-hmm. Now, The spirit of Ish also tells us that Ish is about internal teaching. And internal teachings is a dialogue between us humans and the invisible. How is it that we can do this? We do it through incredible stillness and incredible silence. This is where, if we stand in a place and we stare at something, at an object or something, if we keep staring at it, it will soon disappear and everything around it will disappear. And all there is just you staring at this void. And we have to get into that place of just becoming one with all that there is. It has taken me a lifetime of practice. When I was a child, I spent a long period of time where I had come down with tuberculosis. And this disease of tuberculosis that had actually settled in my lungs brought me into a place where I was forced to be isolated from my family, from my brothers and sisters. The one that I had communication with was my mom. And so I couldn't do anything other than to be still. To be still because my body didn't feel good. To be still because it was overwhelming, just not feeling good, physically good. If I dreamed, the dreams were very exaggerated. And so I learned how to release myself from my physical body and to journey outside of my body and to find myself on top of the roof of the house and gazing at what was going on outside in the street, in the community. And I could watch my brothers and sisters play in the backyard. And so I found this to be a unique way of journeying, and yet allowing my body to heal itself. But at the same time, I understood that if it was not for this illness, I would not have learned how to do that because I was a kid and I loved to play. I just loved to have fun and be with my brothers and sisters and be with my friends. But I was forbidden. I had a special little place where I stayed, and I even had my everything, my little chair, my plates were separate from everybody. My spoon was separate. Nobody can touch it. Nobody can touch anything that I had. And so I was forced into this place of isolation. And it wasn't for a week, a month. It was a long, long time, a very, very long time. And so I was left with two things. The beauty of solitude and the respect of when the body becomes ill. And to be compassionate when somebody didn't feel good. And so these teachings for me were very hard because you don't understand it as a child. You think like a child, you know, you don't understand the reasons why, you know, no matter how much, you know, they tell you that, you know, it's, you know, that other people can, you know, get tuberculosis. I came to find out later on in life that there might have been a possibility on how I became ill. I had a baby sloth that I was raising, and the baby sloth was so dear to me. I believe that I might have kissed the sloth 150 times a day and just hugging her and loving her. She was my baby. But she ended up dying suddenly. And so I was told that perhaps maybe she might have been the carrier of that because she came from the wild. She lost her mom, and my uncle brought her to us so that we can raise the baby sloth. And so I became the instant mother to the baby sloth. She became my baby. So these things we learn, and we just have to practice. We have to practice. The bottom line is the practice. Yeah.
Practice, and the discipline to practice and to find the solitude and the silence.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that tuberculosis was divine spirit, perhaps, mandating you to have that experience, like you said, that you wouldn't have had. Perhaps you wouldn't have this
right.
had you not.
Yeah. And it helped me throughout my life to pace myself, because it left me with delicate lungs. And so throughout my life, I have to learn to pace myself. If it takes a person a few hours to clean their house, it might take me a few days to clean my house. I pace myself. If it takes somebody, you know, a half an hour to walk a mile, it's going to take me longer than that to walk a mile. So I'm always pacing myself. I'm always very careful about smoke and fires and anything, you know, perfumes, any odor that is going to irritate my lungs. I'm always very, very careful about secondhand smoke and things like this. Now, you would say to me, how is it that you do fire ceremony? And I would say to everybody very carefully, very, very carefully. I look at the wind. I stand, so that the wind is not throwing the smoke on me. So I've learned to be very strategic, to strategize my every movement with everything that I do. I learned not to put my lungs through incredible difference in temperature. Like I can't go and do a sweat, like go into a sweat lodge in the winter, because coming out with my body being heated into the cold can be very detrimental to me. So I've learned to do sweats when the temperature is the same inside and outside. And so I have to keep thinking throughout my life, what is the best thing that is not going to aggravate or injure my lungs? So I'm constantly thinking that way. So it has taught me discipline in my life.
And this is a discipline that we should all have anyway, the discipline to pay attention to our environment, to be one with our environment, to pay attention to the conditions, whether or not we have a propensity for getting more sick because we have this condition in our body, but because we're in the flow of nature, because we're connected and we are aware of our environment and its impact on us and our impact on it. We have a number of really thoughtful questions. Are you ready to hear some of them?
Yeah.
Let's get to all of them with the time we have left. Oh my goodness. Okay. Flordemayo, this is Bray, who has been on, I think, almost every one of our calls. And she's so gracious in her gratitude for you, grandmother. This is such a wonderful blessing when we may not otherwise have the opportunity to enjoy our energies and vibrations, that we can lift up to a higher connection with all life on this sweet planet. And thank you for sharing with us the important teachings and guidance from the unseen realm to help us on this Earth Week. So she sends her blessings. And unfortunately, because she's calling from work, she cannot ask you this question. What really resonated with me was the sincere gratitude. It is lovely to add that word to our gratitude for all. Could you please speak to this some more? The power of gratitude, I imagine she's speaking about. She would like to be elevated, but she's at work right now. So can you speak more about sincere gratitude? Power and the critical importance, I'm going to add, of sincere gratitude.
Again, I'm going to mention that it's an internal process. We even gratitude, we have to practice. We're not always in this constant spirit of just being eternally grateful. Our everyday life takes us in and out of being in that gracious moment. When we practice and when we have to develop this diligence of practice, this is the meaning of internal teachings. This is the whole meaning of Ish. It's absolutely, the whole meaning is internal teachings. We have to be able to go into that place and just listen. I can't, I don't have it in a bottle that I can feed it to anybody with a spoon. I don't have a magic wand. I don't have any of that. It's simple, simple listening. Yeah.
And this is something that I've learned from you over the years, over the year, over the lifetimes we've been together in this year, the simplicity of it, you really make it so digestible and accessible. And it's right here for us to just listen, to be silent, and to be grateful. And you can't give us that because it has to be our own journey. Um, Pathway. No one could have given it to you. You had to experience tuberculosis and the seclusion and all that comes with that to lead you here. So my gratitude for you is just magnified tenfold. I didn't think it could get bigger. And speaking of Ish, perhaps for those callers who haven't been on before, maybe speak a little bit about that. Dorothy Joy asks about that. She talks about some numerology actually in the letters of Ish. She points out that was yesterday Ish, or we try to do it on the day of Ish, don't we? But
today is Ish.
Today is Ish.
Today is Ish. Yeah. Yeah. Today is the day.
That's right.
And Ish is the relationship between humanity and nature. Mm-hmm. And I would recommend that she listens to the first recording because it's too extensive. It's absolutely too extensive, and if she can do that, she would learn a little bit more. The numerology, according to Maya, is different than Western numerology. Mm-hmm. The number 13 in Maya, what it does is that it teaches us, okay? It teaches us patience, and it teaches us action. Hmm. So throughout the day, we're going to become irritable at silly things. And I don't want to even get started because I kept losing my connection with this conference call. It kept going into space somewhere.
Yeah, which is really hard.
And I kept bothering Sandy and saying, come on, I can't get on.
Hardly. But yeah.
So here I was, I started my morning by feeling impatient, and I had to find a place in my house where I was not receiving kisses from our puppy doggy, who thinks, that he has to kiss me every 2 minutes, Uh-huh. So if I'm sitting down, that means that he could come and sit on my lap. So I locked myself up in a room that doesn't have any heating. And if you see the computer shaking and me shaking, it's not the vibration of spirit. It's not because spirit is going through my physical body. It's me shaking in the cold room.
Because of Jack, because you're
trying to get away from my 2 puppies. So
there's the connection to your animal spirit, our animal human relatives. Thank you. Yes, and I use the word numerology, not Dorothy, but there's an entire equation here. I'm going to send it out to everybody. I'll send it to you too, Grandmother. And it's really quite stunning how she's arrived at the value of 13 being one whole complete existence. Mm-hmm. So that's really quite interesting. But patience, boy, speaking of patience, Elaine Groman actually has a wonderful question here. And because of the technology and because of the patience that we have and some technical um, forgiveness we're going to have for the Zoom gods, I would like to read her question rather than elevate her, because I don't know what's going to happen from there, if that's okay with my compassionate listeners here. Grandmother, thank you for your guidance and your leadership. And as a healer, I'm working to help guide people to learn how to step away from fear and embrace inner wisdom and love. Can you suggest a way that might enhance the energy that would allow us to open the hearts of others?
Elaine, the best way to do that is to go into prayer when you are with your students or those people that you are guiding, in the way that I did as we started our 1 hour with Zoom, and allow Spirit to guide you into a meditation and into a prayer, and just go from there. You have to trust because you put the intentions forward. Release yourself, become one with the holy ones, and allow that inner guidance to guide you and your students. It's about as simple as how I demonstrated it this morning. But I don't have any books on anything. My book is direct guidance.
Mm-hmm. You're
That's
asking us or suggesting to us that we know what we need to know.
absolutely,
We have
absolutely,
access to it.
absolutely, absolutely. And
Listen to it and be patient in that and silent.
yes, take. So today in Ish, it's patience and action. Okay, so the action is the spontaneity. Okay, in which I approached this call. I just went right into it. And you go into it because we trust. We trust and we know we are one with the holy ones. We are one with the beloved mother. We are one with God. We are one with the spirit of our ancestors. We are one with the spirit of nature. We are one with all that is sacred around us. And we need to learn to be simple, to approach things in a simple way. If all that we receive is one tiny, tiny little word, then we meditate on that. We meditate on it. We bring it into the heart. We become one with it. We allow it to breathe with us. And we try to understand it. You know, how is it that Grandmother Flordemayo for the past year can talk on one word, Ish? I mean, how is it that we do that? We do it through spontaneity. We do it through not thinking, but just allowing the beauty of the energy just flow through you.
Our world is so complicated and our problems seem so complicated, but our solution is as simple as that.
Absolutely, Sandy. I think that if I have done anything in my lifetime is invited everybody to think simple, to think absolutely simple, because spirituality is simple. Our relationship with God is simple. Our dialogue with God is simple. one word, we can think about that for 30 years. And I'm not exaggerating.
No.
I am not exaggerating.
With the time that we have left, I wanted to share something that you have made available to everybody. And I keep it on my thumb when we have our calls, and here it is. I'm going to show everybody. You're looking at the symbol of the jaguar. And this is, you can purchase this on your website, right? At the Path.
Yes.
And this reminds us, would you share for those who haven't heard on previous calls, but who will, because you're going to go back to the recordings and listen, but where Grandmother talks about the power of the jaguar and the meaning and the relationship to.
Yeah. All of the days, the 20 day lords have what we call Nawal, which is the power animal, and with Ish, it is the jungle cat, the jaguar. And we are told that the spirit of the feminine has the agility of the feline, that the cats, the jungle cats, walk on the earth, but the pattern of their bodies, the spots on its coat, reminds us of the heavenly stars. And so the jaguar is also nocturnal, and also it travels during the day. And so in the observation of our ancestors, they said that the jaguars, the reason that it would be the spirit of the feminine is because the jaguar is a celestial and terrestrial being, walker. And this is who we really are as humans. We're celestial, we're heavenly beings, we're constantly moving in that direction all the time. We're constantly in prayer, we're constantly in dialogue with the great mystery, we're constantly moving in that direction. And yet we have our physical body in which we walk and do things in the physical way. Mm. And so we are that. We're celestial and terrestrial beings.
That's stunning. And I did say that I keep this with me on my thumb when I'm on calls with you, but sometimes I'll grab it. I keep it right here on my desk. Sometimes I'll just grab it when I need more patience to remind me of my connection. It sits here to remind me, and sometimes I just need, and it's the way I can just put it right on my thumb. It fits perfectly. So I'll send everybody a link to where you can get one and maybe wear it around your neck. I keep it handy on my desk. Grandmother, would you spend the remaining time talking to us about what's going to happen at this gathering for humanity in Santa Fe in May 16th through the 20th, to be exact?
Yeah. So what I like to share with everybody is in just simple word. I can't predict how the great mystery is going to move us. Everybody's asking me, what's going on? How is this going to happen? The only thing I know is that I was visited by two holy beings, and the holy ones told me to gather the people. Mm. And much more than that, I do not know. Neither can I invent anything. Because when we come together, each and every one of us that understands those words, that we need to come together, we're being directed by the Star Nation and saying, hey, do this. I'm a good listener. I pay attention. I've made all of the possibilities to bring everybody together. We're going to the place where I had the vision, which is the Chi Center. Mm-hmm. What I did is that I spoke a little bit of the vision and I send it out to dear friends. These are the presenters. I send it out to dear organizations And these are the organizations that have come on board because the path can't do this by themselves. And I need help. I need help, meaning we can't do anything by ourselves anymore. If we're going to create anything, it's a collective doing. And this is what we're learning in our physical world right now, is that if we are going to make a change, it's a collectiveness of people that feel the calling in the heart. Mm-hmm. Something is going to change. Something is going to happen. But beloved Creator, it is only part of the beautiful, great mystery that we are just constantly learning how to live in that great mystery. We can't, I can't even say, Sandy, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, because I don't know. And I will be just as surprised as everybody else. But whatever it is, we have to trust that it's going to change many people, including myself. I'm being put in that absolute place of trust.
Mm-hmm. There's so much said today about being better together, how beneficial it is to do better together. But your message to I think all of us is that it's not that we can, it's that we must. And that we really, it's all hands on deck, we say. And at the Charter Women and Girls, we consider ourselves the womb of the Charter for Compassion. We use the terminology midwife. We're midwifery. We midwife in what's coming. We don't know where we're going, but we know we're on our way. So let's make it as comfortable and seamless and in concert with, in harmony of what is coming, so that we are best prepared, because where we are isn't working anymore. Where we're going requires us to step into our authentic selves, and we can't do that without patience and action, which are two. Actually, patience to me means you sit and you're patient, and action means you move and you go. And that's a whole nother conversation. How do we navigate between the two? But there is your trust. You just trust you'll know, like the jaguar knows when it's time to pounce and when it's time to listen.
Yeah. Sandy, as you were speaking, the Holy Ones showed me this diagram. Wow. It's like looking at smoke at a fire, and you look at the smoke. We can't predict how the smoke is going to move. Think about that picture that the Holy Ones showed me. We can't predict how the smoke is going to go, no matter how we try, because the smoke is going to move in relation to the air in whatever way that it needs to do. And so this is who we are right now, okay? This gathering, it's going to move through the prayers and the persistence of all of us, because this gathering is not about the people that are going to be just physically there. It's going to be sent out into the four directions via satellite also. So everybody's going to be involved. There's going to be a moment for everybody in the four directions. Of course, it's always very sweet to physically be together where we can speak, that we can embrace ourselves, okay? That we could be praying and chanting and drumming and lighting the fire together, blessing ourselves with the spirit of the water. I mean, all of these physical things, they're beautiful. But if we cannot get away, there's always going to be the service of the satellite for those people.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I had mentioned, I believe yesterday, that I want to be able to televise it at the 40 acres, because I'm physically not going to be there. I'm going to be at the Chi Center, which is up the road. But at the 40 acres, those people that are there can see it, can be with us, through this technology. And so we're going to make it available to everybody.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, you can find more information about this extraordinary event and more about Grandmother's programs and where to pick up your symbol of Ish Gathering for Humanity is where you'll find out more about the program. Although we really don't know what's going to happen, but it looks like who you've convened ensures it's going to be so very special. And then also follow thegoldenpath.org. You've all gotten that in your invitation. Grandmother, it is with deep gratitude and humility that I thank you from the bottom, from all directions of my heart. And to all the listeners and those of you who came on the call, thank you. Thank you for your patience. Boy, today really is a day to need some patience and a little sense of humor doesn't hurt too. In taking care and paying attention to ourselves and what wants to be. Grandmother, thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you to you, Sandy, and to the organization, Center for Compassion. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody. Love and light and blessings to everyone. And remember, it is the collective that is going to change. This is what I've been told right now. It's all about the collective, all of us together around the globe that are going to make some changes, So, I greet you with that. And I thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a beautiful day, evening.